Hi, I'm Jaime Hannans, Assistant Professor in Nursing. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit about using lesson plans through Blackboard. I started using lesson plans about a year or two ago when I was exploring some different tools and different ways to work on blending and classroom in the blended learning program. I initially had used modules a lot and really wanted students to be able to kind of work at their own pace to work through materials, and had a ton of content for them to go through. So what you see on the screen is my nursing course. It's a lab course, Nursing 401, on assessment, and each week we cover different content area and do different simulations. So what I've done with the nursing program, at least for this course, is blend it so that about 50% of the time is now spent online in preparation, and then when they come to the lab, they're really using hands-on time in the classroom. And so lesson plans were really useful for me for this. I'll show you the student mode so you can see what the students see week to week. So as they go into each content area, the lesson plan allows for students to be able to really see and get refreshed without having to go back to the syllabus, without having to go back to their syllabus to look at what the content is that we're covering, the description, and refer back to the objectives. The reason the lesson plan really seems to work for students and for me is because it helps me stay on track with what content we're covering week to week, but it also allows students to kind of see what they need to cover, have a to-do list, and keep them well organized. Additionally, there's a number of other ways that you can use lesson plans to either tie your material back to objectives or emphasize major points, or even offer just resources and articles and content in an organized way without necessarily having it tied to a timeline or time frame like you do in modules. I found students struggled sometimes with organization or knowing what to do week to week if there was a lot of material or multiple smaller assignments and tasks along the way. So this was a really good way to organize it, both for the students and for myself as we went through the course in the semester. So what you're seeing here is the student view of how I set up the units in the lesson plans. And so from the student view, this is kind of the first page. And what I'd like to do is in the next video, talk a little bit more about why organize the materials this way, why use lesson plans instead of modules or some other method in Blackboard, and how I used it to make it work for my students. The final video will give you some examples of how to use lesson plans in different ways, or different ways that I've used lesson plans in nursing, to see if there's anything applicable that might be useful for you as you organize your own course materials or decide how you want to plan your course out. So I look forward to telling you more about lesson plans.